Hey, Coach, how are you, sir?
Good, good.
All
How
right,
about
we're
you?
just going to go right into questions for Coach.
Thanks.
Coach, I guess the kind of question of the week is the quarterback situation for Temple, and how have you handled that? And I guess specifically, how have you handled the film and preparation side of that? These last few days.
Well, first of all, Ronnie, I appreciate you changing it up, not letting Steven ask a question first. I think that's probably been the bad luck there. We're going to change it up and get back on track this week. So I appreciate you jumping on board and asking the question first. But yeah, so you've kind of had a little bit of a carousel there at quarterback, unfortunately for them and their shoes, I guess. Started the season off with Russo, went to number 11, Trad Beatty, and then last week Mitchell started the game. So you've had three different quarterbacks starting. Supposedly all three of those guys are out, and they're looking to Matt Duncan, the freshman from South Carolina. You kind of analyze him and the limited number of snaps he is taking this season. You go back and watch high school film, analyze his strengths and weaknesses, and then kind of who does he compare to that's played, in the recent ball games for him? Is he more like Mitchell, more like Russo, that sort of thing? Kind of find, plays that they may kind of cater to him and for his strengths and his abilities. And then just, you always keeping the possibility that maybe one of those guys somehow, some way shows up on Saturday. So you always keep it in the back pocket that one of those guys might show up. So we certainly prepare our kids for all of them, but our main focus has been on Matt Duncan and just kind of what we think, where they'll go with the offense. And at the end of the day, and I think their head coach even said it in their press conference the other day, they want to run the football, stop the run, play good on special teams. So their main goal is run the football and control the game, and we got to take them out of that so we can put a freshman quarterback in some situations where he's not comfortable.
Coach, it seems like from the second half of the Tulsa game on, maybe y'all have had a little trouble stopping the run. Have you seen something schematically there? Is it more just personnel or alignment, that sort of stuff?
No, last week we did a great job stopping the run with the tailback. I think he had 13 carries for 54 yards. The other tailback has about 50 yards. The quarterback gets out on a few scrambles on us, and we've actually got him accounted for. Just do a poor job of tackling him, and that was something you've seen him in every ball game. Kind of, he makes people look silly, and Ritter's a good quarterback and a good football team. And then obviously the last run kind of put him over the top. So if we took Ritter and the last run away, I think we did a pretty decent job of stopping the run at times last week. Obviously, we can always be better, and that's kind of got to be our focus each and every week, that we kind of just, hey, do what we do, get back to the first half of Tulsa, being fundamentally sound, and doing a good job tackling. I think some of the Tulsa game in the second half, if you go back to that game, was bigger backs in the second half, just kind of wore us down a little bit. And we got to do a better job there tackling, getting those guys on the ground and putting them in second and long, third and long situations.
Can you talk about just obviously safety this week? You guys are having to move a little bit of people around. Just the challenges of that and late season, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so you've lost a few guys back there, injuries and whatnot, and Warren Saban was a big part of our defense, and going to miss him, and just moving some guys around that's been with us all year, and maybe moving a guy out to Sam or moving a guy from corner to safety, just to make sure we have enough depth, enough bodies. One to go practice and be effective throughout a practice, and just always want to have good depth in case something goes a certain way in a ball game. Where we practiced early in camp, we had two different fields going, guys getting reps early on. So we've had guys that know the system, know the defense, know the calls. It's just maybe at a new spot, and they're learning little tweaks and ins and outs of that spot. So feel very comfortable with it. Jawan Powell's doing a great job back there. David Laney's doing a great job. DeMel Hickman is taking some safety reps and kind of looks, really natural and comfortable over there. Tegan Wilkes, obviously, been playing some Sam and Buck back and forth to the safety all season. And then, one of the freshmen we moved out to Sam was Taylor Jackson, who was played inside backer. But when you're a wheel backer and you invert, it's not a whole lot different than playing Sam. So there's some carryover there, and we feel good about it, especially when they're in their 11 and 12 personnel looks.
Coach, could you talk about the Temple receivers? That's obviously the strength of their team. What you see out of that?
Yeah, so just going back through and look at their receivers. They're Temple tough And I think it's been going on for years. Is their top players, their toughest players are in single digits. And you look at 3 of their receivers, 0 with Jones, 5 with Blue, and 1 with Mack are all 3 in single digits. So that tells you a little bit about that receiving core. Blue was 18 last year and very dangerous last year and very dangerous this year. A lot of the jet sweeps are coming across the field. They like to get the ball in his hands, and he's their top leading receiver. A lot of those are the jet sweeps. 0, Jones, he took one to the house, I think, first play of the SMU game, for about 70 yards, just a little bubble screen, made somebody miss and had the speed to get up and down the sideline. So those 2 guys can get up and down the field on you, very good speed, good route runners, complete package out there, receiver. And then number 1, he's kind of their double pass guy, but he can go up, big body, 6'5", 220, 225. They can go up and get in the ball that, I think they'll try to take advantage of our smaller corners out there, but he's a bigger body that, they'll use certainly in the red zone as well and on third down.
I was going to ask about Juwan Powell, and it seems like when he's played even last year and this year, he gets a lot of tackles, and defending the run might be one of his strengths compared to, maybe pass coverage. Does that fit into this game and this style? Obviously, could he be an asset, getting tackles and stopping the run?
Yeah, Juwan's a good tackler. I mean, you look at him, he looks, maybe not like the biggest, thickest safety you've seen, but he does a nice job coming downhill and getting guys on the ground, tackling ball carriers. And any time that he's, we don't have to remove to the field, you can see him in the box and coming downhill and fitting the run more and those type of things. And we got some, things designed for him for the safety to drop down in the box or safety pressure every now and then where you can see him, fitting up the run as well. So he's done a nice job with that.
Coach, obviously you'll have a couple games left and still a lot to play for. But when you look back at this season and kind of everything you've been able to learn with so many young players, how valuable do you think this season of experience and getting the chance to play will be for your defense?
Like you said, we kind of – you don't want to kind of look at the season as a whole. You kind of just want to focus on Temple getting the win this week and then obviously the one after that. But you're looking back and just saying, hey, we got this guy for 4 more years or this guy for 3 more years and all that. And they're getting tons of game experience where in a normal year you might have only played those guys, a Jason Romero or Kareem Stinson or a Taylor Jackson in 4 ball games and then just put them on the shelf for the rest of the season because you were trying to preserve a redshirt season. Now it doesn't matter if they play 5 snaps a game or 50 snaps a game, it's not counting against their eligibility. So that's kind of nice and looking at it. And I think I said maybe this last week, they're going to have these experiences to fall back on, good or bad experiences to fall back on for seasons to come. You can always refer back to, hey, Xavier Smith, remember at, Tulsa when we had this happen or this happen and how you fit that up and, the positive experience or, so you can make corrections off of past experiences with some carryover there. So look forward to that. That's more of an off-season thing. But right now, you really focus on Temple and moving forward with them.
Are there any other questions for Coach Harrell? Okay, Coach, thank you for your time.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, DK, how are you, sir?
I'm okay. How are you?
Doing well. We're just going to go right into questions for Coach Kirkpatrick.
All right.
Coach, just when you look at Temple on film, it seems like their defensive front is always really good and big, and this year is the same. Just how much of a concern is that, especially being kind of banged up on the O-line?
It's a huge concern. 3 starters back from last year's team, transfer from Wake Forest, an older kid. So very experienced, very good defensive line, really just like last year. The one young man did transfer to Miami. He's tearing it up down there too. So we're lucky he's not there. But then the other guys are just so good. They're so good inside, big, heavy guys, quick. And so I don't care what line you had, you'd be concerned about this defensive line. They've had some injuries. They've had some guys out past. I don't know what the situation is this week, but I think all the defensive line are back. And so we have been banged up, and that's just football, though. That's just nothing you can do about that. And the next man up, and we'll have a huge challenge this week up front because that's how you win. You win up front. When we play good up front, we have a chance to win the game. When you don't, it's hard.
when you looked at the film, and obviously when Strother went out, you had to shift things last week. How did that work? Do you think? I mean, how did Justin kind of fill in? When you graded things out, I guess.
Well, overall, I thought you have to be encouraged that he got in there and played. The biggest adjustment was he had to go play left tackle, and he has played right tackle, and he's played right guard. He had to go play left tackle. So the very first drive, he went the wrong way a couple of times, and it's literally you'd be thinking like, no way that could happen, but it's backwards, and that cost a couple of plays in there. But overall, he competed. He did a good job. I'm sure glad we've got him. You just how many holes can you plug? When the shot went down, everybody was just like anybody but him at this point right now. But Justin did a good job. We got a lot of guys that are banged up that gutted it out. There were some other guys that probably would have liked to have been out of there maybe, or should have been out of there, but they wouldn't come out because they knew we didn't have anybody else. So this year has been a tough year, obviously, overall, but in a lot of ways it's been good because a lot of these young kids have gotten to play a lot of football, and that's how they get better. That's the only way to get better, is for them to get in there and play. They might be playing more than they actually wanted to play, but I think in the long run, we'll be better for it.
Coach, a ton of games getting postponed and canceled this week, and I know Temple's had some concern. Is there any concern at this point from what you've been able to gather that the game won't be played Saturday, or are y'all still confident?
Well, I just waiting to walk in here 2 minutes ago, I just heard it's been like 14 games canceled. So, we've been in the cave all day, so I didn't know that. And Nina just expressed that. And so I know we're going into an area that is in a little bit of a shutdown or something. They were also saying in Philadelphia. I guess that's above my pay grade. I don't get any of that. I am just focused on trying to find a way to move the ball and try to get our guys to play the best they can. And I'm going to be here either way, first thing in the morning, probably here till late tonight and tomorrow. And I'm expecting to go play until somebody says don't go play. But I've heard nothing like that at all. We have prepared just like we do every week. I guess you would anyhow, but as far as I know, we're rolling. And I know we want to go play. I know we want to go, but I want to go play. I know the kids want to go play. At least, the offense kids I'm around mostly, talking about it with them today. They're excited about trying to go and play better. I think, 3 weeks ago, we were starting to build some confidence, and I was worried that, we'd have to keep our kids knocked down a little bit. They were starting to get, the feeling of, hey, nobody can stop us but ourselves. And I really felt like that was probably true. And now we've probably had a little bit of blow to our confidence because things haven't gone as well as we want them to go. And that's life. That's a learning experience. So the only thing that would make us all feel better is to go play well and win. And so that's what we're looking forward to.
Coach, how would you say your quarterback's played this year? I know last week was a tough game for him, but how has he played this year?
Well, with the exception of last week, and I think Georgia State, he's played great. I mean, I don't know how you could have played a better game than he played at Tulsa. That was phenomenal. I don't know how you could have played a better game than he played at South Florida. He was absolutely dead on. He didn't play in the Navy game. The Georgia State game was a tough game. We got behind, and I think he pressed a little bit and, turned it over a little bit like that. I thought he played really well against Central Florida as well. So last week, that was a tough game. It's a good defense. I'll give them some credit for that and never take anything away from them. We got too far behind. That makes it tougher on the quarterback, and the main thing is if he wouldn't have had the turnovers, one of them, the guy ran the wrong route. That's tough on the quarterback. You get hung up when the guy runs the wrong route. You throw an interception. The other two were on him and on me. So hopefully we can eliminate those. And I think if you eliminate those, then he's a great player.
With the running backs, Donnie, obviously Keaton had a kind of a breakout huge game last week, and kind of before that it was Rajay who had the hot hand. How do you maybe handle this game and these final two games? I mean, do you want to try to split carries with them, or do you go with the hot hand? I mean, how do you see how that plays out Saturday, I guess?
Well, we'd love to have the thunder and lightning combination. That's the dream. We had that at the last place I was at. The year we won the national championship, we had two backs that could roll in there. I think you see a lot of the teams that can run the ball well around the country. The University of North Carolina had the opportunity to watch them, I guess, Saturday, since we weren't playing. They have a two-back deal there that's working really well. That would be the dream, to do that. We kind of kid them. One of them goes in, anything I can do. The other one says I can do better. So they compete in a friendly rivalry type deal. But I think they're very good complements to each other. One is bigger, one's a little maybe smaller and quicker type guy. But they both can play. They both can catch the ball out of the backfield. They both are young, and they both have got to learn to play without the ball a little bit better. They got exposed in pass protection last week. That was some of the issue right there when they brought their guy that they've got to pick up, and they got beat. But they're two good young men that the future is very bright. I think they are the future here, that we'll build this team around those type of backs. So we will rotate them. It kind of depends on, who. Some one of them does get hot a little bit sometimes, but a little bit of it is just how the game's going. Because like if you have long drives, you're going to sub a little bit more in there. If a guy gets a long run, then you're going to cause, for a substitution. When you don't move the ball, then, you don't sub as much. So we haven't really laid out a number of carries or how many plays, but we plan to play them both a lot.
Coach, I think every game but South Florida this year, there's been at least one turnover, and that was obviously the game y'all played really well. How much of a, frustration has that been with kind of an older skill position guys and an older quarterback at times? And then would you like to see, obviously, a clean game make a big difference?
I think it may be the number one frustration that we have offensively, because I think it's the one thing that's held us back from having a chance to win a couple of the other games, when besides the turnovers, we were playing pretty well. Turnovers, and we've had some penalty issues, I guess, too. So that is, and the thing is, it's something that our staff takes great pride in not turning the ball over, and that it's coached so hard. The way we practice is designed to put them in that situation, to where we hit a lot in practice, we strip the ball in practice, we thud the guys, in every drill we do. So we coach it. Everybody coaches it, not just the guy that's the running back coach or the quarterback coach, but everybody's told to coach if a guy's got the ball out loose, or he's, being loose with the ball. So we coach it all the time. We do drills. We've done more drills this year than we've ever done. Sometimes the thing just happens. Now, there have been some of those fumbles when a guy defensively put his helmet right on the ball just perfectly, or just timed it up. It was just a great hit, and that does happen. When our defense knocks one away, we take credit for that fumble. We don't always just say, well, they gave that away, and everybody does that. But there's been a couple of them when the ball was loose, and that's been the situation. And then the interceptions have been a little bit of an issue too, like I say. But the interceptions happen. Like I think we had 3 in the game the other night, and we had 3 in the Georgia State game. Well, both of those games are games when you got way behind. So now the defense has a huge advantage in that. And that's when turnovers like that happen, because you're too far behind. You're predictable. They know you're going to throw it. They can sit on it, stuff like that. I don't think we've had a lot of interceptions really in the other games. They haven't been multiple like that. You're going to have one every now and then. If you throw it 50 times, you're going to have a interception in there. But it's something we're working on. It's something we got to eliminate, though, and we're run that time this year. I would like to see us play clean for 2 straight games. That would be a huge improvement.
Coach, how's Pro played this year?
I think Pro's done a nice job. He had a super big game, obviously, against Tulane. So all the games haven't been big like that, and he has fought through a lot of injury with a shoulder that's been banged up. So I'm really proud that he has gutted that out and been a tough guy. He's a very steady guy. We have a lot of different guys that are capable of having big games. He's had a big game. Snead's had a couple of big games. CJ's had big games in the past as well. And then we have running backs that have had big games too. So the issue we get into a little bit sometimes, if we're not careful, is there's not enough balls to go around. Everybody can't have 12 catches in one game and another guy have 200 yards rushing, another guy have 100 yards rushing. So it's not all about statistics necessarily that how they play, but he's done a nice job blocking. He does a nice job when he doesn't have the ball. He's caught the ball pretty consistently. He had a drop the other night. Nobody's perfect like that on a takeoff route that he had and let it come out. But Blake's done a nice job.
Okay, are there any other questions for Donnie? Okay, Donnie, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.